Formula SimRacing heads to the popular Hockenheimring in Germany for round 7 of the World Championship. Despite looking incredibly different to the much-loved high-speed layout of yesteryear, it is still a circuit loved by drivers, with its varying combination of corners such as the high-speed stadium section and the heavy braking zone at turn 6 providing a unique challenge for the drivers. It was Martin Gosby who once again took pole position, just under 600ths of a second ahead of Robin Panzer, who joins him on the front row. Championship leader Jene Simicic lines up in third ahead of another impressive showing from Ghost Speed. Tom Satherley, standing in for the absent Lukaszek, qualified in 4th position, just ahead of Janis Brakshock in 5th. David Morcek starts in 6th ahead of 2 Edge esports cars of Burlak and Kish, with Fournier and Burakov rounding out the top 10. It was a miserable session for the John Lacey esports squad as neither car qualified in the top 10. However, McGlade D'Alessandro does have the luxury of being the lead car with a free choice of tyres. Sander Callas struggled and could only manage 13th, whilst Jos Araneda and Philip Kraus start from the pit lane, and the latter standing in for Michael Ayres. The big question was, would ACR continue their streak or would another team pick up the spoils at Hockenheim? Lights out and the leading trio got away cleanly. However, further back there was contact as Van den Eet sent Patel spinning and into the barriers and out of the race. The leaders remained status quo whilst Burakov was getting boxed in the midfield. Heading into the hairpin, the fireworks continued as D'Alessandro was tagged by Callas, putting him in a spin and at the back of the field. The Netrex cars seemed to have a magnetic attraction to the John Lacey esports cars on this first lap. The carnage didn't stop there as a technical issue led to the dramatic roll of Ricardo Costa. End of lap 1 and Andre made a move on Kasdorp, but the Frammy lost it at turn 1, becoming the race's 3rd retirement. Gosby still led from Panzer, Simicic and Satherley, whilst Brakshock was under threat from Morcek. However, Morcek got his braking wrong and hit Satherley. That caused terminal damage to Satherley's suspension, ending a promising drive. Morcek then was under pressure from Fournier, a slight bit of wheel banging, but the position was Fournier's. Not for long though, as Morcek drafted back past with the use of DRS. Further behind, Andre and Callas were having quite a tussle for 11th, until the contact sent the flag to flag into the barrier, bringing his race to an end. Hockenheim was serving up quite an attrition rate as Van den Eet crashed after hitting the grass at turn 1. Turn 1 was proving to be incredibly tricky. Even the reigning champion was caught out, ending another miserable race for the John Lacey esports camp. Meanwhile, the battle for 6th was still raging. Morcek had pitted, but Burlak was on the prowl. But he locked his brakes and contact was made. Sensibly, Burlak gave the position back. Despite that, Fournier rejoined from his stop ahead of Morcek as a result of a poor stop on the ACR Blue driver. When the leading trio pitted for mediums, they rejoined behind Valeriano and Callas, who were both going long. Crucially, Gosby quickly cleared the Frammy Autosports car, but Robin Panzer was held up and couldn't make the move as quickly as Simicic. Eventually he was released when Valeriano pitted, but he had lost valuable time to the Brit and was under serious threat from Simicic and Brakshock. Callas, who was going very long, was easily passed by the leading trio, but wasn't so easy for Brakshock, who lost valuable time. Meanwhile, the battle for 5th was getting tasty as Fournier was leading a train of Morcek, Michaels, the 2 edge cars of Burlak and Kish, Burakov and Araneda. Burakov was progressing after a tricky start and had his sights set on Kish's 9th place. However, an ambitious lunge did not end as planned. Both continued but with damage, which eventually caused Kish to retire. Stephen Michaels was running in 7th, looking for his and Flag to Flag's first points of 2019, but Burlak was on the prowl. However, Burlak's lunge didn't go to plan and Araneda pulled off a well-executed switchback. Meanwhile at the front, and Panzer was still running in 2nd, but Simicic was right on the prowl. A mistake from the Swede was all the invitation Simicic needed to take 2nd. But an undercut from Panzer in the 2nd round of stops allowed him to retake that position. until Simoncic managed to get back past. Second was his, and he had his sights set on Gosby's lead. Panzar's strategy had not gone to plan, as he was now under threat from the ghost speed of Brakshock, who passed him at the hairpin. While Sander Callis' day came to an end as he retired thanks to damage sustained in earlier incidents, making the car tricky to drive. Meanwhile, in the fierce battle for fifth, both Michaels and Morchek had got the undercut on Fournier, and Araneda was right behind before he passed Leroy Miller at the hairpin. Araneda was now behind Morchek, but things got a little hairy to say the least when they caught the late stopping Valeriano on the straight. This allowed Fournier to have a run, but both came to blows, dropping them behind Burlack and Kraus. It was not meant to be for the Chilean, as his engine blew on lap 54 as a result of using too much qualifying boost, ending his race. With Fournier out of the way, Burlack was now free to attack Morchek, which he did successfully at the hairpin. All this battling was helping 5th place Stephen Michaels pull away from the rest of the group, crucial for him as he was on a 3-stop strategy and he pitted on lap 57 for softs. Philip Kraus, who'd recovered well to be on course for points, was also 3-stopping, but was held up by Burlack and Morchek, causing him to rejoin quite a way behind Michaels. It was going a lot worse for his teammate Burakov though, as his engine expired as a result of using too much boost, costing him a points finish. Morchek was really struggling with tyre wear now, and with 2 laps to go, he was passed by Fournier. While all this was going on, Simoncic had reeled in Gosby, and as the last lap began, he was clearly within striking distance. Down the back straight, and Simoncic had the run, but tried to go to the inside, but the space wasn't there, and it was so nearly ended in disaster. It was a tense lap for the ACR team, but Gosby held on to take his second straight win and led home in ACR 1-2. But the battle for 7th wasn't done, as Michaels on fresh softs made a pass on Morchek to take 7th. Janis Brakshock pulled off an amazing drive to take his first ever podium and Ghostspeed's first since Brazil 2017. Panzar was slightly disappointed with 4th, over 20 seconds ahead of Burlack and Fournier. Stephen Michaels was delighted to take his first World Championship points and flag to flag's first of the season. Morchek finished in 8th, but the incident with Satherley caught up to him and he received a 15-second time penalty. This promoted Philip Kraus, who pulled off a strong drive to 8th position despite being drafted in as a reserve at the last minute. Morchek would have to settle for 9th, whilst Valeriano got the final point in 10th, the final car to see the checker flag in a race filled with attrition. Despite failing to win yet again, Jone Simoncic still holds a 61-point gap back to his teammate Gosby in 2nd. Burlack still holds 3rd ahead of Panzar and reigning champion D'Alessandro, whose tough season continues. Morchek has moved into the top 10 despite his penalty, whilst Brakshock's podium has shot him up into 11th in the standings. ACR are continuing to look unstoppable, with both their teams leading the way. Edge still hold 3rd ahead of the John Alesi Esports, who failed to score for the 3rd consecutive race, while Flag to Flag have finally gotten off the mark courtesy of Stephen Michaels' brilliant drive to 7th. Thank you very much for watching this video. Highlights of the Hungarian Grand Prix at the Hockenheimring that took place the 21st of July will be available soon, but the live stream is available to watch on this channel. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more Formula Sim Racing content.